For the second time today, we get to talk about a 6-0 loss.
Straight sets.
Woohoo!
6-2, 6-2. Oh, 6-2, 6-3.
Yep.
How fun for us. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Postgame Show. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Craig and Petey as per usual. We got Danielle behind the scenes. Someone in Discord said, do you need someone else to start a fire so that you don't have to do the post-game show again tonight? As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, we're not back in our office. This is because, I mean, the magician just took it too far with that trick, I guess. But
what if they find out it really was his fault? Oh, boy, howdy.
Maybe somebody should start a fire under the Coyotes, but I'm
bummed.
Craig, you're a comedian lately. Yeah, let's talk about this one, I guess. Who wants to go first? Petey?
I'll go first.
Oh, Craig.
We praise him all the time. They didn't get the goaltending they needed from Connor Ingram tonight. Let's just say it outright. They didn't get the goaltending for a second straight night. They were behind the 8 ball almost immediately. And they're in a world of hurt here, guys, heading into the last game before the All-Star break in a building where, Petey, you know, they don't just play poorly. They get routed in that building sometimes. So this is a tough spot right now.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. You've struggled to have good starts over the last 2 weeks. You've given up a goal last night, a minute and a half in. I think the focus tonight at the drop of the puck has to be, hey, let's get through this first 10 minutes. And we talked about it last night. You have to have a good start. Let's get through the first 10 minutes. Let's get through the puck drop. Let's get through a face-off. And you know what? And sorry, maybe tomorrow or Saturday, maybe, and I know they're probably tuned in on the way to the bus, maybe you don't start the Keller Schmaltz line. That's 2 nights in a row where they give up a goal a minute and a half into the game. Let's do something else. Let's defend for, you know what? Let's try to go 0-0 for 5 minutes, because at 24 seconds in, you can't do that. And should Connor Ingram have that? Yeah, I think he probably should. He's probably screened again through a pile of people. Did the Coyotes have the puck on their stick? Yes. Could they have got the puck back? Yes. Did they defend poorly? Yes. Were they missing a shooting lane? Yes. All of the things that we say literally every night, they did in spades tonight. But here's the difference that I thought. And I texted Craig. Is Ingram makes 2 big saves. He made one on Hagel, and then he made another one on point. And I said, okay, this is different than last night, because now it's 1-0, 2 big saves. Keller scores, it's 1-1. Different game.
And then the second period happened.
Yeah. And then it was literally more of the same. And I don't know how this continues to happen. The turnovers, the poor defending, the poor net front coverage, it just builds on itself. And hey, let's call it the way it is. The Tampa Bay Lightning's payroll is at the top of the league. The Arizona Coyotes payroll is at the bottom of actual money spent. These two teams are exactly what they should be. And the Coyotes took a big stride from a year ago, and us thinking that they were a playoff team at this time. Even the GM said probably not yet. And you know what? It's coming to bear. It's probably not yet. This team just is. We've got to find the little wins like we did a few seasons ago. You got to find individual players that are playing well and things that are going right for this team, because the overall picture of us talking about this team trying to battle for a playoff spot is going to be extremely difficult over the next 35 games. It's going to be hard because they're just not playing good enough right now as a team.
Mark said, I know we all have excitement that the Coyotes were in the playoff mix, but now that we realize they aren't a playoff team yet, we can be more grounded in their inconsistencies. And maybe it's the fact that we've done 2 shows today where we've talked about it just feels like deja vu. It's the same mistakes. It's the lack of goaltending. It's the turnovers, the defensive mistakes. And every time the Coyotes lose a game, for the most part this season, it seems to be that. It always seems to be a loss, or it's a dramatic loss rather than, a tight close game that other team just had the edge. And I think that's what's been really frustrating about this stretch. We'll talk a little bit about that more, but let's first get into the numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union. Arizona's number one credit union, named by Forbes. Let's take a look. Tampa outshot the Coyotes 38-20. They were outshooting them every step of the way. 13-5 in the first, 14-9 in the second. You can see it here. Tampa 1 for 3 on the power play. That power play is so lethal. It is, when you watch it and how just sharp their passes are, it's unbelievable. Coyotes only had one opportunity and went 0 for 1. And then shot attempts, Tampa had 66. The Coyotes had 47. Faceoffs pretty even.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's where do you go with it, Leah?
Where do
you go?
You guys are like, I really don't know what I want to talk about tonight.
The number one power play in the National Hockey League right now is the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's number one, first overall, best in the league, number one. And if you're facing against the best power play in the league, Craig, if you're a coach of this team, what's on the whiteboard before you go out on the ice for the very beginning of this game?
Stay out of the box.
Stay out of the box.
I don't know.
Discipline. Look, what discipline. And I have yet to go on, and you know me, because now it's driving me nuts. I got to go back through the film again to find out what the hell happened to Kesselring. Like, what you just made the score 6-3. It's still out of reach. Like, let's not kid ourselves. It's 6-3 in the third period. This game's out of reach. All Tampa Bay has to do is put the pedal back on the gas, and they're gone. But for one brief moment, it's 6-3, and you go, gosh, maybe you have and Kesselring loses his mind. Like, I don't know I didn't see anything. Definitely nothing on that play. Matt McConnell alluded to something 7 minutes prior. But to take a double minor for crushing and kicked out of the game, I don't understand it at that point in time. And we saw it last night with O'Brien. We see it tonight with this. At some point, this is, if the coaches aren't preaching discipline, and I can't imagine they're not. They're coaches. That's what they do. Stop taking penalties. Come on, we got.
Bear said it to you last week when he talked about facing Pittsburgh or earlier.
Exactly.
In the week.
So now it's if I'm in the locker room, I got to go. What are we doing? Like, I think this is another one of those instances where the leadership group has to stand up and start shutting the door and go, okay, that's enough of this crap. Like that to me, when you take a penalty that you're seeking retribution. I saw it with O'Brien and Kesselring are both perfect examples that those are selfish to me. Those aren't about the team. They're not protecting your teammates. They're selfish. And you can't have that if you're going to, I know this team, again, not playoff team this year, but if you're going to be a playoff team, those are the kind of little mistakes and little things that you have to be able to bury. You see a playoff series, you see how hard those games get and how physical they get. And you cannot strike and lash out every time someone has a big hit. You can't. You can't succeed if you're in the penalty box all the time. Teams are way too good right now. The teams that are going to be the best teams in the playoffs right now, and you go right down the list: Lightning, Rangers, Hurricanes, Devils, Bruins, Oilers. Those are the top 6 power plays. Guess what they have in common? They're all really good teams. So you can't take penalties. And I think that the discipline for the team has got to, even if that's a small win, even if they just stay out of the box on Saturday, that's a step forward. It shows that they're learning and trying to take baby steps.
I don't even know
Craig
where
looks
to go next.
Extremely frustrated right now. Craig's just like, are we done yet? Where's my wine? I can just see got a comb?
It's just it's the combination of things, right? We've been on the air already today, and we were talking about the arena and all the garbage surrounding that, and then the team gets just bombed in back-to-back games. The truth is it's easier to cover a team that's winning. It's easier to cover a team that's having success. It's more fun to talk about it. The fans obviously have more fun being around a team that's having success. And I honestly, I said it to you guys, I put it in the Discord, and it aged very poorly. I said I thought this would be their most competitive performance of the road trip, and then they get bombed again. They get blown out again. It's hard to explain that. Like after the effort you had last night, I really thought that they would come with focus and turn in a good effort, and they didn't.
It's really too bad too, because PD's been preaching good start, good start, good start, good start, and then 24 seconds in, you allow a goal against. I will say I do think the Coyotes responded pretty well after that. Clayton Keller evening the score 1-1, and they almost made it out of the first period 1-1. Almost. And if you make it out of the period 1-1, I feel like it's a totally different mindset going into the second, which was kind of the period that, but with 34 seconds left in the period, the Lightning get on the board. And you just, all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, we're going to get out of this. And now it's 2-1. And it just felt like the win was out of the sails. There was no coming back from that. And you're right. You already mentioned it. This wasn't Connor Ingram's best night at all. He allowed 6 goals on 38 shots, which isn't like him. He did make some key saves, but he also probably wanted a few of those back. But there were just, as we already mentioned, turnovers, mistakes, turnovers by Durzi, by Michelli, like not, like those are some of the Coyotes' best players making stupid mistakes. And the problem is the Tampa Bay Lightning have some of the best players in the National Hockey League on their team. You just can't afford to make mistakes like that. And I think kind of the theme of the chat right now is kind of just everybody feeling like seeing through this team right now and seeing who they actually are, and maybe how they got through the first half of the season was a little bit inflated, but now that it's the middle and facing really good teams, they're kind of exposed a little bit.
Petey, on that second goal, I know we talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
You thought it was tipped, but then you thought maybe it went under Dermott's. Did you ever come up with a determination?
Here's the deal. And one of the things you do when you go down and break down film is you want to find out where the mistakes were and where the breakdowns occur. That's what we do. We saw it in a P Puck Talk this morning. And on that goal, I mean, Dermott keeps his player wide. It's outside the dots is what you want from a defenseman. Keep the player outside the dot. The shot's actually from below the dot line and outside the dot line. And that's one Ingram has to have for me at his size. And I don't think, after looking at it several times in slow motion, frame by frame, I don't know if the puck hits Dermott's stick. The opponent's stick, I should know who got that goal. It was Point. Point gets
Point. Sorry.
Yeah, Point gets a goal from an assist from Kucherov. Point gets that goal. Point stick on the follow through hits Dermott's stick, and which means it shortens the follow through. And as a goaltender, Craig can tell you, when a shooter's stick doesn't follow through the way you're anticipating, the puck reacts differently. So if he was expecting a higher follow through, Ingram probably was expecting the puck to go higher, but the follow through is shortened by the stick of Dermott, which keeps the puck lower on the ice. And I still believe that Ingram's got to have that puck. He doesn't traditionally give up a goal from that spot on the ice, and it's just unfortunate. That's one of the goals tonight that I could go, okay, man, that Dermott kept this guy wide. He could add an extra step, but it's Braden Point. I mean, it's one of the fastest guys and most talented guys in the National Hockey League. He kept him to the outside, did his job. So that's when you have to pin on the goaltender and go, gosh, what could you have done differently? One of the few that you can do that to tonight, because there were so many times again that this team had the puck on their stick. And I don't know what the lazy ass plays are at their own blue line trying to get out of the zone over the last 24 hours between the Tampa game and the Florida game, why they cannot get the puck out of their own zone. If you're going to have those kind of difficulties, Bukestad last night, Michelli tonight, just wire it. Just freaking give it off the glass. Get it. If it's icing, it's icing. But guess what? You stop to live another day, and you made it through that point. It's the little mistakes that this team is going to have to grow from. Having said that, you're right. This team is younger. This team they don't have the payroll. This is not as experienced. All those things are true. So we have to find the little wins, but you need to play the right way. You still lose games, but you still need to play the right way, because when you get through the rebuild and you get through the tunnel, you can't make those mistakes. So even if you lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning and you lose 5-2, but do it the right way. Don't make the turnover mistakes. Don't have the poor defending in front of the net. You're still outmatched. You're still out-talented. But don't make those mistakes, because if you make them now, they're easier to make next season. And the season after, it creeps in. You have to play a more detailed game than this team has of late. And I think that's the concern for me.
Well, we still are going to award a dog at him, and it's not the Phoenix Fire Department this time. So let's go ahead and hand out the Desert Dog and him, and it goes to Clayton Keller, who had a goal and an assist tonight, also had 3 shots on goal. Clayton Keller gets his 20th of the season. He is now a 20-goal scorer once again, so congrats to Clayton Keller.
Yeah, and Lawson Crouse won behind him, getting his 19th, and he throws a trick on that same shift.
He was really going for it.
Yeah. And if people are wanting the positive Petey that we're so accustomed to, and the happy and optimistic guy, and the show that I usually bring, you might want to change stations, because the desert dog is Clayton Keller. His points are near where they were a year ago when he was record-setting pace. But when you look at the stat that jumps out at me tonight, he's even.
Yeah.
He's even. He had a goal and an assist, and he's even. So that means that he's giving up 2 goals the other way. And that's the part of his game that I've been preaching that he's so much better at. He's a 200-foot player. He cares. He's back checking, all of those things. But that line is getting beat, man. That line is not coming back hard. That line is turning pucks over in their own zone. They're not defending well. Clayton Keller's going to have to, if you want to be the leader, and I've also said he should be the leader of this team, you want to wear the C, then you better buckle up when you're inside your own blue line. You got to tighten things up. It's great you have offense. It's great that you're scoring, but that line has to be better from their blue line into the net, because they haven't showed it over the last 2 days.
You know who leads the team in, or is in dead last in the team in plus minus? It's Clayton Keller. He's minus 15, and Nick Schmaltz is minus 12.
Oop.
Yeah.
Oop. Well, if we had to give out a dog and him to a bank, it would definitely be Desert Financial Credit Union, without question. And when we would talk about what stats they have, well, for more than 84 years, they've been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union. They offer checkings and savings account, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. And most importantly, when you open a free checking account online right now with Desert Financial Credit Union, you get $200 in bonuses. Who doesn't want $200 bonus? So get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. You know what we say. If it's good enough for Craig, it's probably too good for you.
BetMGM is the official sportsbook of PHNX, and Super Bowl 58 XXVIIXX is right. I don't know. I just made that up because I don't know Roman numerals, because nobody does. This is 2024 Super Bowl. Switch to real numbers. But it's Super Bowl 58. It's just around the corner. Perfect time to download the MGM Sportsbook app. Don't just watch the commercials. Get some skin in the game and watch that too. Great time with their new offer. You bet $5, get $158 instantly. How do you do that? You sign up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application for at least $5. You receive $158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now, listen to our friend Damon Dog Woof Woof talk about the disclaimer.
Problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
As Petey said,
Yeah.
That's not Shane.
Exactly.
Petey doesn't remember that his mic doesn't automatically mute during.
Oh, well, yeah. I had a turnover and I didn't defend my goalie, HK. Sorry, I made a mistake, just like the Coyotes did tonight, buddy.
Oh boy! All right,
can I say something totally off topic, because I'm happy about it.
Sure.
Craig went down to Tucson. We're going to talk about the article that he's writing with Matt Vialta, but the outstanding trainer of the Tucson Roadrunners, Eric Bechtel, Big E, we call him, tossed Craig some sweatshirts and said, "Hey, let's rep some Roadrunner stuff on the show." And buddy, this sweatshirt, I got to give it out to E. It is money. I don't know if I've ever had a quarter zip hoodie. I think it's a first. It's a first.
It is fire.
So, it is fire. So I wore mine tonight. So thanks, E. Appreciate you.
Shout out to the Roadrunners. I want to talk for a few minutes about Logan Cooley, because Logan Cooley now has points in 3 straight games, has yet another incredible assist. And I don't know, he's been heating up a little bit these past few games. And if we're going to highlight maybe a bright spot on this Coyotes team right now, I think Logan Cooley is definitely one of those bright spots. Craig is muted.
I'll talk then, because since Craig's muted, that's fine. Logan Cooley, we've seen that him taking a step forward over these last few games, without a doubt. And I tell you, that play with Michelli where he makes that pass, Cooley's got to tap in. It's a hell of a play by the Tampa Bay defenseman. Radish gets a stick on it. Otherwise, he's celebrating another goal. It's those little strides, and these are the things that we have to draw positives from for the Coyotes of the future, is when you see these younger players making plays like this. And I think Cooley is starting to play better, and it's showing up on the scoreboard. And I'm excited to see where the plateau and where his, I mean, we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen what Logan Cooley's going to be in this league for a while, but it's really good to see him making positive strides.
I'm so curious what this roster is going to look like next season. We've already talked about how every one of their defensemen is playing on an expiring contract, and like two deep beyond that are playing on expiring contracts. So the back end could just look radically different next season. I wonder about the forward group as well, if they're going to infuse more youth into it. I don't know, but there are definitely some things to get excited about. We talked about this last night as well, with Cooley and Gunther connecting in the third period last night. Obviously, you're excited about those guys. You're excited about Michelli. You're excited about Crouse. Clayton Keller obviously is still a young player. So there's a lot of pieces here now that you're seeing coming together in the forward group. They're going to infuse some more. I wonder what they're going to do next season to sort of try and take the next step forward. I think it gets harder at this point to take noticeable strides forward, because people want to see progress in the standings. And you might get to the point where you say, we need to put more of these prospects. It's going to be almost prospect heavy in the lineup, and your team might take a step back in the standings, but it's still actually moving forward. Really curious how they're going to approach this next stage of the rebuild. Haven't talked with Bill Armstrong about that much. And I know they've been focused on the playoffs, and I still think they are. We can't write them off, obviously, yet, but it's going to be an interesting topic as we come out of the All-Star break and then get into March after the deadline, et cetera.
Yeah, it definitely will be interesting to see. But lots to be excited about. We've seen, speaking of Tucson is having a really great season, and that's even before a ton of guys who are in the Canadian Hockey League, in college, in Russia. There's still a lot. So I think also on nights like this is important to remind ourselves, like, yes, the Coyotes are in the mix for a playoff spot, but this is year 3 of the rebuild. So, it's like, got to keep chugging along. But on the subject of, we had high hopes and now things are sliding, I looked at the month of January, or just 2024. The Coyotes now, with tonight's loss, are 3-8-1 in January, which is not good. What do you guys think has been the reason for this slide this month?
I don't know that you can point to one reason. I mean, one that Petey's been harping on all season is they don't defend well. I don't think this team defends well. If the goaltending falls off at all for this team, then they're going to struggle because of that. But we've also talked about this a lot. This time of year, there are stages of a season where play gets ramped up. Teams start playing better. They dial it in. Are the Coyotes able to keep pace with some of these teams that have probably a lot more talent? I think that's factoring into this as well. I just think the league is getting better as the season progresses, and maybe the Coyotes aren't able to keep pace with the roster they have right now.
Yeah, I think part of it too is probably that first 30 games is probably a little bit of an aberration. I don't know. I think we were all kind of surprised how well they came out of the gate, and they were around the playoffs for as long as they were. So I think that a better start maybe than we were anticipating. I think this was probably a little closer to who they are. I think injuries have played a little bit of a role in that. I know you're missing 2 NHL defensemen tonight. Barrett Hayton's still been out of the lineup, and we know what he does to that top line. So injuries have had a little bit of a factor. They didn't get consistent goal attending from day one until now. I mean, they really haven't. Ingram has been the closest thing to that. So I think there are a lot of things that you can lead into what has been the problem. I still think, to me, I wish they could play more simple. And I know you hear that on TV, play more simple, play more simple. What does that mean? Well, just like we said with Michelli and Bukestad's turnovers at the blue line, those pucks getting out. And turning pucks over to the middle of the ice, dumping the puck in instead. I mean, little things like that are when you're outmanned. And I've been in coaches' rooms for a very long time when this team was outmanned. Trust me. And you go up against a team and you go, we have no chance tonight. How are we going to play? And I think I go back to the Dave Tippett era when we had that the most. When you had a roster, you just couldn't compete. and you'd go, what are we going to do? And it was those things that we talked about just now. We can't turn the puck over, and we're going to defend like a son of a bitch, and we're going to defend hard. And from the blue line in, we're not giving them anything from inside the hash marks and the top of the circles. If they are going to get scoring chances, we're going to keep them to the outside, and let's hope we can block a shot and get a breakaway the other way. And I'm not kidding. Those conversations took place. Maybe we can block a shot and go the other way. Or maybe we can get a power play and get lucky and get one. And I think that sometimes this team has to find other ways to win. They seem to play the same way all the time. And if it's going well, great. If it's not going well, then they're going to lose. So I hope for this last stretch, because Craig alluded to it, this roster, we don't know where it's going a year from now. This could be younger next year. I mean, it honestly could. And if it goes younger, it ain't going to be better. So it doesn't mean it's not going to be better in the long run. It's just might not be better in the short term. So for this next 30 games, this team has to get better habits. They have to get better habits and try to avoid some of these situations they put themselves in.
Yeah, lots of comments in the chat too about non-linear progression when Craig brought up citing Jamie Eisner on that one. But
I never got to partake in that. I was part of the Natty Hattie for such a brief time that happened so much before my time, that I didn't get to really grasp of that non-linear progression discussions. Craig, I feel kind of left out.
Maybe teaches a class on it now at the University of Chicago, so you could do that online, I think.
Who does?
Jamie Eisner. No, I'm kidding.
Are you being? Oh, I like God! I
Got
literally
him.
believed you. Got him. I've seen Jamie Eisner online, and he looks like he could teach a class in linear progression.
There you go.
He definitely
he'd be
does.
a professor.
Oh my gosh, Craig, did you actually want to talk about Emil Martinson Leelberg, or did you just want to say his name?
I like saying his name. Yes, that's part of it. But it was a reminder, right, of a guy that they actually really liked and probably would still be a part of this organization if not for a concerning health issue that they thought was maybe too risky. It's too bad. I thought he looked pretty good tonight, and they thought he was going to be pretty good. So it's a shame to see him not in this organization. This Coyotes team needs defensemen. He's a big guy. He fits the mold in many ways. They really think he's going to be a good NHL defenseman. And again, I liked what he did tonight. I thought he contributed to that win tonight for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yep. Well, let's look at the upcoming schedule. There's not much there. It's just one game against the Carolina Hurricanes on Saturday, and then mercifully no games until Clayton Keller participates in the All-Star game next Saturday, and get back to it on February 8th against the Vegas Golden Knights. Just ease back into the season when they get back. Why don't you? But you gotta believe too, it's like when you're almost done with school and the semester and the break is next week and you're just like, I have 2 days to get through. It's maybe you don't put your best foot forward. Wonder how much of that's playing into the Coyotes play as of late too. Maybe not at all, but just something.
I'm curious to see how many guys are going to jump on planes from Carolina. And Craig and I have seen that at the All-Star break. Guys don't come home. Like they'll leave if they're allowed to from there. I remember taking a flight back from Montreal going into the All-Star break. And Craig, the flight was more than half empty. And I would assume that guys will be leaving directly from Carolina and not making the trek all the way back, especially guys that are going to stay on the East Coast. That why would they make it all the way back? So we'll see where their focus is, knowing that they're going to fly out and go see family immediately following the game on Saturday night. So we'll see how their focus is at the start of that game.
That flight was not direct, Petey.
You know what, Craig? We've done this a long time. That's one of the worst. And there's a long list of worsts. That's one of the worst. When we had to stop in Kansas City halfway through a flight, get home at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're in rush hour traffic coming home after flying literally all night. Travel guy wasn't there. Security guy wasn't there. Head coach wasn't there. GM wasn't there. It was just us schmucks, and it was miserable.
And I went right down to the studio to record the Natty Hattie. Literally.
Did you really? Because guess I did not do that. I went home and slept for 2 straight days and then went back to work. But I think we talked about it on the TV show last night, so I'm not giving away news. And I don't think the Coyotes have actually announced this
last
yet.
night. We didn't do shit last night.
No, we didn't announce it, but they announced it on the podcast. It's the All-Star game, because we're going to talk about the All-Star game. I want to give a little flowers to one of my really good friends. And by the way, this shout out goes to Stan Wilson. And you hear it all the time, great equipment guy, great equipment. He is. Like he knows. There's one thing you learn in the NHL and in pro sports. You either learn to work or you don't. And if you don't learn to work, you don't work in sports, because there is no clock. There is no punch card. There is no day off, holidays. It doesn't exist. You work, and Stan Wilson knows how to work, and he's getting rewarded, and he was invited. They're starting this now where they're adding a second equipment guy to the All-Star festivities, kind of as a little reward. Hey, his wife's coming, his grandkids coming. He's going to travel out to Toronto, and I'm really happy for him. He's miserable about it. Like, it's no big deal. Rah, rah, rah. Grumpy Stan, I said, congratulations, really proud of you. And he's growling about it, but it's well deserved. So yeah, I know you see him on TV a lot. Stan Wilson, everything you hear about him is absolutely true. He is the best, and this team is so lucky to have him. And I'm really grateful that he's getting the opportunity to go to the All-Star game. So congratulations to Stan Wilson.
Congrats, Stan, but I'm sorry you don't get time off, because that's probably the thing that you need the most.
It is. It probably is. Can you imagine? Hey, for your reward over the next 5 days, you get to work more. Yeah,
in a cold climate.
And you get to sharpen skates, and guys, you think those All-Stars are going to be easy on the equipment? Hell no, they're going to be just as bad as always. But their equipment and this and that, yeah. Anyway, congrats to Stan.
But he definitely is an all-star, and he deserves to be.
He's phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal. And not only is he really good at his job, he's an outstanding guy. And if you ever want to know how to do things the right way, yes, Stan. And he'll make sure you know what's the NHL way and what isn't. And I was honored to have the opportunity to work with him, and I learned a lot from that man. And
he gets to work with Alexander Gorgiev too, so he's got to be excited about that.
And you look how many Coyotes coaches. Bonus is going to be there. Tuckett's going to be there, so he's got a lot of Coyote coaches going to be there.
That's true.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, this stretch of games tonight and last night, I think, calls for some OGs. Also, our experience last night with the fire and just everything that happened. If you don't know what we're talking about, go to our Twitter feed at PHNX_Coyotes or watch our show from this morning. But all of those occasions call for OGs. I might take some tonight just to help get to sleep so I can sleep well before tomorrow. OGs, they also have the OGs Naturals, the Big OGs, Sleep Edition, Microdose, Happy Balance, and their delicious, delicious flavors. Scratch made here in Arizona. So support local brand, and to learn more about OG's gummies and where you can find them, head on over to ogsbrand.com.
And you know what, Leah? Don't be like Leah and Danielle. Keep your tank and your snack cart full, and you can do both at Circle K. The best way to save on gas and snacks and world famous Polar Pops? Become part of the Inner Circle. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every day after that. Get every 6th item free of a selection of your favorite Circle K products, including pizza, coffee, and ice-cold fountain drinks. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app. And honestly, if you haven't done it yet, why the hell not? It's literally free, and you download it and get free stuff. So download the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
All right, let's not talk about this game anymore.
Cool.
Let's first talk about the Coyotes waiver pickup today. Adam Ruzicka. Coyotes picked up center Adam Ruzicka from the Calgary Flames. 24, 6'4", 215 pounds from Slovakia. This season, he has 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points, 6 penalty minutes in 39 games. With the Coyotes, he likely will not join the team until after the All-Star break, or is he joining them in Carolina, Craig?
I don't think he will, because
okay.
There's going to be some visa. I think there's some visa issues, so he'll probably join after the All-Star break. So, I mean, he's a big guy. You can see 6'4", whatever he was, 215. I think I can't even remember the weight. Bill Armstrong likes the fact that he's a guy that can go to those hard areas. He can be a net front presence. He's decent in the faceoff circle. He may be able to play up and down the lineup, but probably more of a depth forward. Consistency's been an issue for him. And I think you saw our good friend Mike Gold talking in the Discord about how he doesn't play with an edge. So he doesn't necessarily use his size to advantage all the time. He may for clearing space and, establishing position, but maybe not for physical play. We'll see how he fits in here. Look, this team needs some center depth. The other thing that I want to say about this move, a lot of people ask me, does this mean that Barrett Hayton had a setback and is not coming back? No, the moves are unrelated. This is there's no setback for Barrett Hayton. He's still expected back after the All-Star break. This was just to add a little more depth up the middle. If you remember, they lost Travis Boyd. He's not coming back this season. So this gives them an opportunity to get another body in the forward group.
And not only that, he's an NHL player, and you don't want to tap into the guys down the road runners who are trying to develop and do it the right way and overbake and all the things we've talked about. So you need to have another option. You get a player for free off of waivers. He's making league minimum. It's just over, not quite league minimum, but he's not. It's not about the money. He's an RFA at the end of the season. If it doesn't work out, you put him back on waivers and you move on. Like it's really you can't lose for the Arizona Coyotes. And if he does play the role that they're hoping maybe he can at his size, maybe he become a Bill Armstrong type player. Maybe he'll come here and thrive in the environment of the developing players and under Andre's Tournier's tutelage. Maybe. And if he doesn't, you literally have lost nothing. So I think it's a really good gamble for GM Bill Armstrong to take a chance and take a flyer on a guy that's a really big guy. And you've seen how this team has struggled in the faceoff circle since the loss of Barrett Hayton and now Travis Boyd too. And so anything they can do to help shore that area up, great. And again, if it doesn't work, just move on.
Harold, a new inconsistent player for an inconsistent team with the thinking emoji. Hey, sometimes the Coyotes nail it on waiver pickups, though, not going to lie. Blatantly Asinine said Crouse didn't play with an edge either. This guy is a scratcher lottery ticket. Let's see how he does with a shot under Barrett. There's really nothing to lose, I think, at this point, and you never know. And he's a big guy, so he fits the Bill Armstrong mold. Craig, should we talk a little bit more about the arena? Have we done that enough today?
I'm done.
I guess I would just point people to all the stuff that we record. That's now on YouTube. There's a lengthy discussion between the three of us on YouTube available. I thought it was a really good discussion. We covered what is going on there. Okay.
I'm giving up on the arena talk. That's it.
Yeah. Just go watch us on YouTube. But it was nice to see that another national reporter did some work today. Chris Johnston, props to you. He was on Insider Trading today, and to paraphrase him, said, I don't get the impression that there is an imminent deadline for the Coyotes arena announcement. They do not have to make an announcement by the All-Star break. You're right, Chris. They don't. Thank you for doing the reporting, because sometimes it feels like we're out here shouting in the wilderness. So it's good to see somebody else doing the reporting.
See, everyone, that was it. That wasn't so bad. The chat is freaking out. No more.
No, that was it.
Also,
that was it. I'm just teasing. I'd love to hear arena talk.
Chad brings up something. What about bear syrup? Don't know what about it, but thanks for bringing it up. I'm sure Petey is dying to discuss.
Yeah, I love talking about bear syrup.
Are you out of bear syrup, Leah?
No, because I haven't opened it yet because I want to save it.
How do you not open it?
I
opened mine, unfortunately, on the set. So mine,
I think
mine
you gave
the transportation.
into it.
Yeah, I did, because the transportation of mine was a mess before we even left the studio. And I said, I'm not
because Andre didn't. I think he only brought 3 cans. Like he ignored the producer, like both of you guys always do.
Yep, I always do. Danielle knows it. I told Danielle, I forget.
Except last night when we made our escape, and Petey goes, the 3 of us survived, and Danielle was like, cool.
I know. But in my defense, it was the 3 of us that were literally standing in the camera in the shot at the time, and Danielle was not. And I feel terrible. Danielle,
I do appreciate you calling me out on the Circle K read, though.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Doesn't forget about Danielle when it comes to.
I'm gonna call her that from now on. 3 Mile Danielle. Like, who the fuck does that? 3 Mile? Really? Never in my life 3 miles. I knock on wood. I am 56 years old, and I have never run out of gas in my life. Like, I don't know how that's humanly possible. I don't know how people do that. I've
never run out of gas.
Okay, there's Circle K's everywhere. At least we're not talking about hockey. And I want to leave I'm looking through the chat, and there was some consternation. I know I come across and I'm pessimistic and I'm frustrated, but it's from honestly, it's from a place of love. Like they're making mistakes they shouldn't make, and in the coach's room, you've got to get that kind of frustration. You've got to have that kind of anger, or you don't solve problems. I think this fan base, don't get frustrated. Look at what the strides that have happened from this season at this time right now, where you were a year ago. Like this franchise is going the right direction. I just looked at the contracts. There's not one of these defensemen, not one, that is under contract for next season. Not one. And we're talking about their defensive problems. Well, they can change that. They're going to evolve into a team that's got Shimashev and Boot and Zuber and the Castle Ring and Mavlam and Durzi.
And maybe Jeremy Langlois. Who
Duda,
knows?
yeah,
And there'll be a
you're
ton
talking
more with the draft picks they have.
And we just named 8 defensemen right there that could be your top 6, and then you've seen the core of young forwards that are already here. Not to mention the ones that are growing in Tucson and those yet to be drafted. So hang in there. And I know you've heard that preached to you over and over again. Hang in there, but it truly is the best core of prospects, draft picks, and current roster that this franchise, as deep as they have ever had while they've been in Arizona.
Great reminder, PD. And if you want to see more of PD as a video coach in action, make sure you check out his in-depth breakdown of last night's game against the Florida Panthers. Really learned some great stuff there. I feel like every time PD does one of those, I learn something new. Chris, $2 super chat for smoke damage or smoky whiskey. Cheers, back therapy. Love it. Thanks,
weren't we
Chris.
supposed to do some whiskey at one point? He just brought that up.
Yeah, Max.
Was that a Max promise, by the way?
Yeah,
Yes.
we won some tasting thing.
I see.
And we were supposed to get it.
Whiskey, promised leaves of donuts. It just doesn't happen.
He gets so focused that the coach of the Rising, and he gets kind of flustered and he gets kind of distracted.
I think he's so focused on bringing in all the sponsors that keep us up and running. So
Max is the GOAT, truly.
He is phenomenal. Without Max, we are not here. So thank you, Max.
Absolutely true.
Eric asked if Dumba is hurt. Yes, he is week to week. Eric as an update. All right, let's round things out by taking a look at the punch card. This line is not looking great so far, starting off with 2 exes, just like the last line started, and the last line was not great. So hopefully things turn around. One more opportunity before the All-Star break to put a check on that board for what would be a Connect 5, which we would absolutely love to see. But we will see what happens. In the meantime, Chris mentioned drinking. I need a drink. How about some Four Peaks? We were talking about Four Peaks this morning. PD, did you end up having a drink this morning? You did? Oh, wow.
I did. But that's okay.
I will be right back.
Oh,
there you go.
Craig is going to his fridge to get a Four Peaks. What do you think he's going to come back with?
He's Wow. He's that new Wow, the Wow Light. He's going to go the Wow Light. I bet you he surprises us all with Wow Light.
No, I think he surprises us all with some sort of stout or porter.
Oh,
that's what I think. But it doesn't matter because Four Peaks, whatever type of beer you like, Four Peaks has it. What did you come back with?
Pilsner.
Oh. Kill lifter.
Oh, see, that's dirty. That's dirty. I'm out of kill lifter. I've got Wow, so I'm okay.
P, listen for a moment.
Oh, a little kill lifter ASMR.
Wow.
Literally, it's the Four Peaks logo facing the screen. Keep reading, Leah.
Okay. Four Peaks, you can buy them wherever you buy your beer. They also are on tap at pretty much every restaurant in Arizona. You can visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. And make sure you check out the Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale, which is a collab between Four Peaks and Bad Birdie. It's super drinkable and the perfect companion at the tea box or in your fridge. Again, you can check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly.
Craig, that's dirty. that looks phenomenal.
Ice
cold. Oh, ice cold. Look how good that is. It's just a beautiful caramel colored beer. I love myself some Scottish ale. I love Kill Lifter. I do. It's phenomenal. It's got flavor. People think it's too heavy, just have never had it because it's crisper than it looks. It looks heavier than it is. So try it. And by the way, while you're trying that, do you cringe when you look at your current flooring? Because a lot of people do. I did. So it's time to upgrade. And it's time to upgrade with Empire today. You get the shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Working with Empire today is easy, it's quick, and it's convenient. You get someone in your home that day to eliminate back and forth to a store. Speed and service that you won't get at a big box store. And don't forget how cool Empire today's floor visualizer is. And you know what? You can take a look at the floor visualizer right now. Listeners can try it out by visiting empiretoday.com/PHNX, and you can digitally change your floors right now today without even calling anybody. You can just check out their visualizer. It's really cool. I've used Empire in my own home, and trust me, They service what they sell at Empire today. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can save $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details.
I like how someone in the chat, you got this, Petey.
It was better. I almost didn't. There was almost a mumble-free ad read.
Almost.
It was close. I'm getting better at this.
You
It's not like I do
are.
it for a living. It kind of is.
Does anyone have anything else they want to say?
I just want to drink my beer.
I'm going to try to be more positive. That's going to be. I know it's not a New Year's resolution because
Oh,
we're
you're
almost February. I
Come
know I'm not. I've tried that for 30 years. I was happy once in high school. I remember it. I remember those days. It was glorious. Back when I had a future.
Oh my God. This episode today. Okay, yeah. Shelby brings up a good point. Who starts in Carolina?
Hell if I know after these two efforts. I don't know. Roll the dice. Just, I don't know. Flip a coin. I have no idea.
But here goes back to, and this is why you always have to think of the what ifs. And that's why I would have played Connor Ingram last night and the first night, because if it's going bad, like it did last night, and it goes bad in Florida, then you pull Connor Ingram at the end of the first period, you put in Karel Vejmelka. Now there's no pressure on Karel Vejmelka. You're already down. You've already got the game lost. So there's no pressure. So he can go in and get the minutes that he hasn't had since January 12th. So he can go play in a stress-free environment. And if he does great. And now you've rested Ingram. Ingram still comes back tonight in Tampa Bay, and Vejmelka has played well against Florida. And now you've set yourself up to, you've got a day off between games. And now if Vejmelka was lights out, then he can go again. If he wasn't good, Ingram would be better tonight, and you can go with him on Saturday. I think when you started Vejmelka after not playing since January 12th on the first night of that back-to-back, I think you're really limited what you could do for the rest of the trip. That's the way I would have looked at it. But unfortunately, I am here and not in that room. So they have those discussions much deeper and much more in depth than what we did here.
Do you think we see Soda?
I personally, yes.
After these two efforts, like, why wouldn't
I don't know
you?
what you're waiting for.
Yeah.
He's getting about 12 goals in 2 games. He's there. Like, honestly, at this point, what do you have to lose? Let's see what he has before you send him back down. You're still going to be without Stetcher, and Dumba are going to be out of the lineup. So I think you have to roll the dice. Even if maybe you play 7, maybe if you shelter him a little bit and play 7, I don't know. But I would think that he'd get in the lineup. And again, to answer Shelby's question, I'd come back with Connor Ingram. Been more consistent along, and I think you have to. This road trip's already. You've got no points, and it's already a disaster. You have to try to salvage something. You get a point out of Carolina, a building that this team struggles in. As long as I can remember, they've really struggled in this building. And Carolina, by the way, just beat the New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins in their last 2 games at home. So,
there is a spectacular photo. The Carolina Hurricanes honor their Hartford Whalers tradition, and there is a spectacular team photo with Dave Tippett hanging in the press box in the hallway leading to the press box with his old duster.
What a great mustache. Creepy, but good.
It was a spectacular.
Dave Tippett. I will say this, their history of the Hartford Whalers, it's still, when you had that H and W making up the Hartford Whalers, that's a phenomenal logo. I love the colors. It's one of my favorite sweaters of all time. And you look at the number of coaches that come out of there with Quinville and Tippett and Alf Samuelson, and there's a lot of guys that have gone through that organ. Oh yeah, Deneen. Yeah, you're right. What an organization. Yeah, anyway, plug the Whalers. Let's go Whalers. Dave Tippett's mustache.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up for tonight. Another tough loss, 6-3 Tampa Bay Lightning. But we will be live tomorrow, Friday at 2 p.m. for Flavoring Friday with the What Chaos crew. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun after what felt like a very heavy week. Although it started off fun with that Pittsburgh game, but it's kind of been downhill from there. But we'll try and keep it light tomorrow at 2 for everybody. So make sure you subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss all the extra content. Like I mentioned, a PD's Puck Top went up earlier today. If you missed the show earlier but just want to hear about the arena, we have that separate if you just want to hear the arena talk. But I highly recommend watching the whole show yesterday because we also told our fire story, and I think it's pretty funny, if I do say so myself. And of course, become a diehard, join our Discord, join our family, get diehard only content. We're in there every single day on Discord interacting with the diehards. It's so much fun. You also get 20% off merch, 20% off on events as well. among the other great perks to becoming a diehard. So check that out. You can follow us on Twitter at Craig.
Don't forget the high school game, Leah.
I won't.
Okay.
At S. Peters
Because
Hockey.
you're ahead of it.
At Leah
If you
Merrill.
follow the rundown.
At Abracadinho. That was still in there from earlier, Petey. So I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it again.
Sure. Just don't forget the high school state tournament is next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the finals are on Sunday. Don't forget it. Check it out at asha.org for game times and ticket information. asha.org. I'm going to be there. Leah won't be because she's going to be all bougie in Toronto with the All-Stars rubbing shoulders with famous people. But I will be at the Mullet in the electric atmosphere of the high school state tournament.
And follow them on Twitter, Asha, and follow at PD at S. Peters Hockey.
Yeah, for everything.
He's been tweeting all about it. So check it out. It's going to be so fun. If you missed it last year, you got to go. It was a blast. But anywho, you can follow at Abracadanielle. You can follow our show at PHNX_Coyotes. And again, make sure to subscribe wherever you get your audio podcasts as well if you missed the Jovo interview earlier in the week. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Even on a loss, hit the thumbs up on this video on your way out. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, and we will see you all tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.